Ted Bundy, the charming killer. Ted Bundy was an American serial killer who was speculated to have murdered hundreds of people, but was only convicted of around 30 victims. His speculated time period of murder was from 1974 to 1978. Ted Bundy was speculated to have murdered hundreds of people. His first proven victim was Karen Sparks on January 4, 1974. He viciously beat her in her Seattle home, but she managed to survive. Another victim of Ted Bundy was Linda Ann Healy on February 1st, 1974. She was another undergrad at Washington University. She was brutally murdered and her bedsheets were covered in blood. The early life of Ted Bundy. He was born on November 24, 1946 in Burlington, Vermont. His mother wanted to give him up for adoption, but his dad wanted for him to stay in the family. He considered his biological mother his sister his entire life. His family was considered normal. It's been speculated that his grandfather had caused him psychological and physical abuse. His mother married Johnny Bundy in 1951. He had a difficult relationship with his stepfather. He also felt embarrassed finding out that he was considered illegal from his mother. He didn't always fit in with his classmates and would have difficulty with speech. As he got older, he started to become more violent and often broke the law. His victims. There were many details about his victims that were all similar. All of his victims had long, dark hair, were all young, were all easy to manipulate. He used his charm to pick up his victims. Most of them went to college, and all the victims were young white women. Some of the victims had survived, but they were mostly brutally murdered. Capture and arrest of Ted Bundy. He was put in a police lineup in which one of his victims was able to pick him out on October 2nd, 1975. He was then arrested for abduction, and then a trial occurred on March 1st, 1976. And he was sentenced to 15 years on October 21st, 1976. He was then charged with first-degree murder, and then he later escaped, which then he murdered more victims, and then on February 15, 1978, he was apprehended for good, and he was no longer to escape anymore.